A generation now will come of age during the millennium. A generation of Americans that remember when the U.S. was number one nation, but became adults in the fall of the United Nations. As millennials get older, there's a new group of young people coming on the scene called Generation Z. Gen Z, a generation unlike its predecessor. The former can recall a time before the internet, whereas the latter can't. Gen Z grew up in a world where technology has become more just a novelty, but a lifestyle, to a point where they can't connect to different types of people, all with a click of a button. A generation that's growing up in a time of fear and doubt, where technology is something they can't live without. So where do I fit in? I was born in the year 1996. Someone classifies me as a millennial, others say I'm Gen Z. This is how I define me. I'm too young to remember a time without the internet, but old enough to remember a world was before smartphones and tablets. Too young to understand 9/11, but old enough to be in elementary school during that event. Too young to remember a time without cell phones, but old enough to remember when cell phones were just phones. Too young to have played the first generation of Pokemon, but old enough to remember when Pokemon was in its prime. Too young to call myself a 90s kid, but old enough to remember the early 2000s and how drastically different it is from today. So why does it matter of what generation I belong to? Well, because I'm in college now, and when I reflect back on my childhood to now, I see the world change so much in my short time on Earth. Seeing kids nowadays and seeing how I was as a kid shows me that even people my age feel like they can't relate to Generation Z. When I was in middle school, I was constantly told by adults about how my generation is lazy, overweight, and obsessed with their cell phones and always on the internet. Now fast forward to today, and you got kids who don't even remember the Game Boy Advance, flip phones, MySpace, Nintendo DS, or a world before YouTube. Stuff that blew people's minds back in the 2000s. If I'm Generation Y, I represent a generation that has already been established since the high school class of 2000, when the X and Y division began, a generation that was promised a successful life after college. If I'm Generation Z, I represent an emerging generation that's curious, pragmatic, and that wants to see change. A generation that was never really promised to have a successful future because of what has been presented to us. When I graduate college, I want to be that generational shift, a new generation of young adults that's willing to defy the odds that's against them. Inclusion, I'm not a true millennial nor am a true Gen Zer, but rather the transition generation is how I define me. I can hang with millennials, but I can also understand Generation Z since I experience some of the same challenges they're facing now. And all I can say is wow.